Hello, I am Flash Isaac. This is Flashlearners. You are now watching 120 Days to Jamb, a series containing 120 episodes which covers all the topics in Jamb syllabus. Each episode comprises detailed class, questions, and homework. The questions and homework are from the Flashlearners Jamb application. This makes the app a requirement for this class. Visit Google Play Store or flashlearners.com to get the app. Do you have trust issue? Reach me on any of my social handles for activation guide or enquiries. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. This is episode number 110 of the 120 Days to Jamb Use of English with Flash Isaac. In this episode, we shall be looking at words associated with government and politics, that is, registers. Since the close passage we are answering is associated or related to government and politics, we shall simply look at these words and answer this close passage by Jamb, set in the year 2000. And I'm reading it from the Flashlearners Jamb application. And please, I am begging, we can't answer all the close passages. After this series or these classes, open the Flashlearners Jamb app, click on Practice for UTME, go to English. Under English, select any year you like or random. Under topic, choose close passage. You will see all the questions Jamb has set under close passage, and you will see the answers. If you use the study mode, all the answers and explanations are there. The more you practice, the more you get used to them. And most times, Jamb will repeat close passage or give similar passages for you to fill. Anytime a question comes under close passage, know that there are up to 10 questions you need to answer. Sometimes 13. You don't want to miss that for anything. 13 questions. So look at it. In government and politics, we have parliament. The parliament is a group of people elected to make law in a country. And politics is the idea involved in getting power. Dictatorship is having total power and using it unfairly or cruelly. Democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. If set of persons come outside to campaign, vote for me, I will do this, I will do that. Out of all of them, you vote, majority votes a particular person, which means that is the government of the people, voted in by the people and for the people to serve the people. Meanwhile, monarchy is a leader or a king or queen ruling people, not voted in. And republic, if a country is a republic country or a country becomes a republic, the country has leader who is a president, not a king or a queen. No, they select the leaders. And the legislative arm of the government is the body that makes law. We have three parts of government, three divisions of government. And since we are dealing with registers, we call that the arms of government. And they are the legislative arm, executive arm, and judiciary arm. The legislators, they make laws. The Senate and House of Assembly are the legislative arm that makes law, enact law. They legislate, which means they make the law. Executive, they execute the law or implement the law. The president, vice, police, and so on should be in the executive arm. While the judiciary, they interpret the law, which has to do with the law court. The judges, they interpret the law to the people. These are the three arms of government. And the House of Representatives is different from Senate or House of Assembly in the sense that in House of Representatives, people from different districts are selected to represent their area, their district. Meanwhile, Senate, they represent their state as a whole. Interesting. Now let's see a close passage. A question comes to mind. How do I answer questions successfully under closed passage? This is it. I recommend that you read the passage like that, even with the blank words, to have an overview. After that, you start filling the gap based on context, how the words around are used, and based on register. The passage below has gaps. Immediately following each gap, four options are provided. Choose the most appropriate option for each gap. Passage 4. With the most profound respect to members of the Senate, I do not think that it is within the competence of dash body to pass a motion to dash the executive action of the president. The Senate is dash of the National Assembly, but it is not by itself alone the National Assembly. One can imagine the confusion which would be created if dash were to take a view diametrically opposed to that reflected in the Senate resolution. The strongest objection to the action of the Senate is passing the resolution is the fact that it constituted itself the dash as well as the judge of the constitutionality of the action of the president. The function of the Senate is to dash laws, but the Senate has the authority or dash to control the president in the exercise of his dash powers. It cannot, by a mere resolution or motion, give any directive to the president regarding the exercise of his power, nor can it undo what the president has done in the exercise of those powers. The only way in which the exercise of the powers of the president can be dashed is by dash of the National Assembly. This is actually a register involving government and politics, and this involves the arm of government, their functions and their role as it relates to the president. So, for each of the numbers, we are given options and we'll fill the options accordingly. Now, let's say for number 1, with the most profound respect to the members of the Senate, I do not think that it is within the competence of that body to pass a motion to the executive action of the president. Now, the passage speaks about making law and the Senate. Therefore, with the most profound respect to the members of the Senate, I do not think that it is within the competence of that body to pass motion. So, what body is Senate? Senate is simply in the legislative body, not executive, not judiciary. So, since we are referring to the body of the Senate, legislative will be most appropriate because the Senate has to do with the legislative arm and they are saddled with the responsibility of making laws. So, with the most profound respect to the members of the Senate, I do not think that it is within the competence of that legislative body to pass motion. You are seeing body. To the dash, to the two, to nullify the executive action of the president. Now, the president has given an action, trying to implement an action. The passage is trying to say that it is not the duty of the president, of the Senate rather, to stop that action or to stop that, to say the action will not hold. So in register and in government, how do we say that it is not the duty of the Senate to stop the president's wish or what the president wants to do or the president's command? A. Enforce. B. Nullify. C. Modify. And D. Order. In government and politics, nullify is the correct thing. One person makes a law, another person cancels it and says no. That is nullify. It is the correct word or the correct register. And it goes further to say that the Senate is dash of the National Assembly. A wing. B. A portion. C. An anchor. D. An arm. Now, a wing, a portion, an anchor, they actually mean part of something, right? But when it comes to government, we don't use wing, portion, or anchor. We use arm. So the part of government is referred to as the arm of government, which are the legislative, executive, and the judiciary arm. So option D, arm, is the most appropriate. One can imagine the confusion which would be created if the dash were to take a view diametrically opposed to that reflected in the Senate resolution. Now they are saying that the Senate is making a law to nullify what the president has said. It is not the duty of the Senate to do that. They are not saying, what about a situation where dash is now opposing the Senate or the legislative arm? What will the Senate do? So which of these options is a body that can actually oppose the Senate? A. House of Representatives. B. Judiciary. C. National Assembly. And D. Executive. Remember I told you that the House of Representatives are people from districts representing their district in the national level. Like from district, they go there, they form the House of Representatives. Now, Senate are representing the state, like I said earlier. So if people that are representing districts are now trying to raise shoulder with Senate who are representing the state, how will it feel? Just the way Senate who are representing the states are now raising shoulder with president who is representing the country. So what the Senate are trying to do to the president is the same thing they are trying to imply. What if the House of Representatives actually do this now to you who are Senate? So option A is the correct option for number 4. We then proceed. One can imagine the confusion which would be created if the dash were to take a view diametrically opposed to that reflected in the Senate resolution. The strongest objection to the action of the Senate in passing the resolution is the fact that it constituted itself the dash as well as the judge of the constitutionality of the action of the president. So the Senate constituted itself as dash. Is it lieutenant? Is it defendant? Is it plaintiff? No, but attorney of the law. Because plaintiffs are the complainants, defendants are those defending, but attorney are those trying to be in charge of it. Attorney general. Now, the function of the Senate is to dash laws. So, sis, what are the functions, or what is the function of the Senate? A. Enact laws. B. Create laws. C. Compose laws. And D. Annul laws. Now, Senate, they actually create laws or compose law or give law. But when it comes to government, the most appropriate word there is to use is enact. They enact law. That is where register is so important. You don't use words anyhow that don't associate with that particular topic. But the Senate has no authority or dash to control the president in the exercise of his powers. 7. The Senate have no power. 8. Executive power. The president has the executive power. So the Senate has no authority or the power to control the president in the exercise of his executive power. The president is the executive and they give the executive power. So the Senate does not have the power to control the president's executive power. They don't even have the dynamism to do that. Now, the only way in which the exercise of the powers of the president can be dashed, can be regulated, is by dash of the National Assembly. Is by an act of the National Assembly, not a decree or a motion or a bill. An act of the National Assembly is the only way the powers of the president can be regulated. So, ladies and gentlemen, you see from our knowledge of registers and context, we are able to look at suitable answers to the closed passage. Practice as many questions as possible. So, in the next episode, we shall look at more registers. Next 2 episodes, we shall also look at more registers. Then we say we've tried. See you.